While many of us were enjoying the Thanksgiving holiday, a judge in Georgia officially ended the election interference case against Donald Trump brought by Fulton County DA Fani Willis in 2023. It was this case that brought us the infamous mugshot that Mr. Trump ended up using on campaign merchandise and that now hangs at the White House. Many in legacy media fawned over Fani and her case. Harvard Law professor Lawrence Tribe once wrote for The Atlantic, Willis's determination to deliver on her responsibility to the rule of law exemplifies a civil servant doing her duty without fear or favor. Oh my God. Former prosecutor Joyce Vance told MSNBC, the prosecution looks like a slam dunk. But then good old Fani blew up the entire case because she couldn't keep it in her pants. It was discovered she had a romantic relationship with the special prosecutor who she hired to lead the case. That news hit the night of January 8th, 2024. And within hours, this show called it. Sorry, but we were the truth tellers. We knew Fani Willis was in trouble, and we owned the coverage as it fell apart over the next several months. Watch this. I have so much to tell you about today, and the lead story is unbelievable. Why is it not everywhere? The case against Trump in Georgia, I'm not sure the case itself is going to go away, but the prosecutor might be. Some people might be saying, so they're having an affair, who cares? You don't understand. The law puts extraordinarily high ethical burdens on prosecutors. Given the power they have, it can't even have the stank of impropriety. Fani, you're in trouble. I really don't see a way in which Fani Willis stays. I don't know that the whole case goes away, but I think she's going to go away.
We all know that Fani Willis is toast. This is going to get a lot worse for old Fani and Nathan Wade before it gets better.
There have been massive and explosive developments in the Fani Willis case. She's picking up the documents. It's a lie. It's a lie.
No. This is the truth, Judge. And it is a lie. It is a lie.
Anytime she gets caught in a lie, she lashes out.
We have gotten our hands on the texts.
These text messages show that Fani Willis and Nathan Wade did, in fact, have a romantic affair. When you put it together, it's probably lights out for Fani Willis and her prosecution team.
The folks over at the New York Times are absolutely flabbergasted. Who even knew that this could potentially be a thing?
The feeling that a lot of people had when this motion was filed was that it was kind of a Hail Mary, right? And there was not much evidence that it was necessarily even true.
Actually, just fact check for you, New York Times. Some of us knew exactly what to make of it if you just have an open mind when it comes to anything involving Donald Trump. Christmas came early. It finally happened. A Georgia appeals court has officially disqualified her from the Trump election interference case. She's gone. She's done. It's over for her and her entire office, and it's official. Another nail in the lawfare coffin against now President-elect Donald Trump. Wow, what a walk down memory lane. Joining me now, two of the lawyers who helped walk us through the case falling apart with honest, on-point analysis. Phil Holloway and Dave Aronberg, who are both now contributors to the MK True Crime channel. That's its own podcast. If you haven't subscribed, go to wherever you get your podcast, type in MK True Crime and hit subscribe. We've got a couple of week offerings on true crime around the country, and it's a great show. It's doing really well. Phil, Dave, welcome back. And Phil, congrats on having that one right from the beginning. Dave, we still love you.
Thank you.
It took me a while. Dave was ever on the other side of that. I thought it was sort of unanimous that we all kind of knew she was going to be gone.
He would be devil's advocate, I'll say. He was devil's advocate.
It took me a while
to have her interest represented too.
You know, at the beginning, Megyn, you're right. You're right to call me out because I thought, like others did on my side of the aisle, that, well, you know, there may be some issues here, but the underlying case is strong. It won't affect it. And then as more evidence came out of this and possible lying in court, I was like, yeah, this is going to jeopardize this whole thing. Although I did correctly predict that the judge would remove Nathan Wade rather than Fani Willis.
Yep. But then eventually she went and the whole case went. And what a remarkable ending, Phil. You know, it was like, it's fun to walk back to like how this all went down January. In fact, most of those clips for the listening audience were all from January, February 2004, leading up to that announcement at the end, December of 2004, sorry, 24 to 2024, that she'd been disqualified. And, no one believed it was going to happen. I love that New York Times, The Daily clip where they're like, this is obviously a long shot, Hail Mary by this weirdo Ashley Merchant. Like, this isn't going anywhere. Everyone can see it's not going anywhere, but I guess we'll have to entertain it a little.
Yeah, so I go back to, I remember like the whole thing, obviously, but going back to, let's say, the day or the evening, I guess, of the grand jury indictment, I actually was out doing a live remote with Fox News in front of the Fulton County courthouse. And, she comes out, Fani Willis does, and she has this press conference, and she's in front of this giant podium, and next to her is, among other people, Nathan Wade. And I remember thinking to myself, what in the world is going on here, right? Because I knew the guy. I knew there was something going on. It was kind of like one of these things that in my legal community, everybody sort of knew that these two were some kind of an item. And so right then on the spot, it occurred to me, I'm like, this is going to be a problem. And then, of course, fast forward to the motion being filed and the other revelations that came out through that motion, and then the testimony and the things we've learned subsequently. It's just really remarkable to think back and think about all the different gyrations this case has gone through. But I kind of suspected the moment of the indictment that this was going to be a problem.
It's crazy. Like Ashley Merchant, who's also part of MK True Crime, smelled a rat, and she continued to follow that lead that they were allegedly having an affair while he was married, and he was working for her on the taxpayer dime and was like a dog with a bone on that story. She would not let it go.
Can I add something? I forgot to say.
Them both DQ'd.
Sorry, Darryl, I forgot to say. You showed a picture just a moment ago of her, Fani Willis, out, with Nathan at that press conference. Look, a confidential source whose name is Ashley Merchant tells me that that giant podium there was something that she rented. Especially for this occasion, and continued to rent it thereafter until eventually one was purchased. And also that giant seal that says district attorney on it, that was something that was also, as I understand, was sort of custom made for the occasion. So the whole thing just reeked of theatrics amazing. From the beginning.
That's a great tidbit. Wow, the vanity. I'm sure you did that too when you were Palm Beach DA, Dave Aronberg. Did you forget to do that for yourself, that self-aggrandizement? No. I used whatever furniture was there from my predecessor like 10 years prior. So no. you know what? So what do you make of this, Dave? So the official news is that the whole case is now gone because they did appoint a subsequent prosecutor. Well, it was basically this group, the Prosecuting Attorneys Council of Georgia, which Phil told us was exactly who it would go to. Mm-hmm. It's a nonpartisan group to figure out whether there's another prosecutor who wants to take this case. And lo and behold, the guy who took it, Prosecutor Peter Skandalakis, notified the judge, Scott McAfee, who we followed a lot when he did that DQ hearing, said, we're not going to go forward with this, judge. And now, as a result of the judge saying, okay, it's out, like all these defendants, it's over, right? Like, it can't be is it done with prejudice? Like, can they refile against Trump and these other defendants? Yeah. And also, my other question is, what happens to the people who copped pleas, like Sidney Powell, Jenna Ellis, and others?
Theoretically, I'm sorry.
Well, actually,
Dave and then Phil.
Well, let me take that last part, Phil, and you could take the other part. That last part I have some experience with because it's up to the prosecutor. The prosecutor could go back and say, you took a plea, I'm now undoing the plea deal. Remember the Robert Kraft case? I had that case in Palm Beach County. Well, he fought those
with
charges.
Massage parlors?
Yes. And he fought those charges. We got plea deals from all these other guys in advance. And after Kraft was able to win on appeal, and the judges said they threw out all the video, and we said, okay, enough. We can't pursue the case. We went back and then we undid the plea deals with all the other defendants, saying, you guys pled early, you did the right thing, and we're going to undo the prosecution, dismiss everything, because you shouldn't be penalized for copping the plea deal early on, accepting responsibility. And so it's up to the prosecutor here to say, you guys accept responsibility. Why should we punish you from doing, in the prosecutor's mind, the right thing early on? So it's up to them. But otherwise, those those plea deals stay. They remain. And I believe they can still go after the other co-defendants. I believe this ruling only pertains to Trump, and they will not be able to file it again against Trump. And I would also defer to Phil because he knows Georgia law better than I do.
Well, so this is called a null process. That's Latin for dismissal. And it applies to every remaining defendant who did not take a plea deal. So all the cases are officially dismissed, not just Trump, all of them. Theoretically, in Georgia, after this null process or this type of dismissal, and a charge can be rebrought within 6 months. However, as we now have seen, there's no other prosecutor in the state of Georgia that's able or willing to take the case, according to the prosecuting attorney's counsel. And let me just say, Pete Skandalakis is somebody I've known professionally for many, many years. He is, I would say, politically a moderate, but he's always struck me as a straight shooter, right? He calls it as he sees it. And he wrote a rather long opinion that he filed with this dismissal that explained his reasoning. But at the end of the day, it's just a matter of, look, he thinks this thing needs some finality. There's no other prosecutor that wants to take it. It's not feasible for the PAC to do it, even though they can. So no other prosecutor is able to do it. No other prosecutor can do it. He's not going to appoint another prosecutor. He's already made his decision. So that 6 months is just a hypothetical. It's over. It's not coming back. There will be no re-indictment of this case by any prosecutor. As far as the ones that have pled guilty, a card laid is a card played, kind of like as Dave was describing. And if there were a prosecutor on the case who were willing to go back and somehow undo these things, that might be a possibility. But in Georgia, there are very strict time limits. Those time limits have long since passed. Some of them have actually, I know of at least one, maybe two, that have actually tried to withdraw the plea, and the trial judge has denied it according to Georgia law. I think he was right to do that. But I think that those people will forever remain, either convicted or perhaps they get their what's called first offender discharge. But,
when you plead,
they're done.
You're convicted. A plea is a conviction of whatever they pled to, a misdemeanor or a felony. I didn't go through them all. It's Sidney Powell, Jenna Ellis, Kenneth Chesbrough, and Scott Hall, all of whom decided to cut deals to lesser charges. That's really unfortunate for them. They should have put their faith in Ashley Merchant, but who knew?
They didn't know.
She represented one of the defendants, not even Trump, but she was a local lawyer who knew the local courts, the local players, and knew Fani Willis a little too well for Fani's taste. Fani, a man is not a plan, and you chose the wrong man to lay down with. You got the fleas, and now everyone's free. Ever read the label on a typical bag of chips? It's often a science experiment of seed oils, MSG, artificial dyes, and mystery ingredients. Masa is part of the growing movement to bring back real food. Masa chips contain just 3 ingredients: organic corn, sea salt, and 100% grass-fed beef tallow. Not only do these chips avoid the bad stuff, they also taste delicious too. Snacking on Masa chips is nothing like eating regular chips. With Masa, you feel satisfied, light, and energetic with no crash and no bloat. And if you love Masa, then you will love Vandy Crisps. Vandy, which is Masa's sister company, makes the most delicious 3-ingredient potato chips too. Ready to give Masa or Vandy a try? Use code MK for 25% off your first order at masachips.com or vandycrisps.com, or simply click the link in the video description or scan the QR code to claim this delicious offer. Don't feel like ordering online? Masa and Vandy are now available nationwide at your local Sprouts supermarket. Stop by and pick a couple of bags up before they're all gone. Thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.